everybody, and welcome back to McRaeathon with Ventilo, and we've got Tokyo Xtreme Racer by Ventilo with Total Anime and commentary. So, whenever you're ready, Ventilo, take it away.
Alright, so hello everyone, this is Tokyo Xtreme Racer. So today I'm not gonna do the main game mode of the game, because this is a game that has two main game modes. So today we're gonna do Quick Race. So, first thing about this game is that it is about Tokyo street racing around the Tokyo highways. So basically, I'm just gonna say when time starts. The timer starts when the countdown of the first race ends. So 3, 2, 1, 0, basically. So I let Turbo introduce a bit the game, as he knows the series better than me.
Well, I played quite a bit of the TXR games, but I have yet to play the original TXR game from '99 on the Dreamcast. So I played Zero, I played Tokyo Xtreme Racer Drift 2, and then I played the Import Tuner Challenge. Those are practically the only three games I played in the series, but I'm kind of somewhat familiar with it. So what are you doing exactly here? Like, what's different with the arcade mode versus the quest mode?
So basically, the Quick Race mode is a game mode where you just faced you're just thrown opponents at you endlessly, kinda. So there are 100 different opponents, and it goes from early game opponents at the start, and then the more opponents you face, the more difficult they are. So, like, for example, we start with some AE86 and Civics.
Yeah, and then you went with the Civic hatchback. So you're practically going up against the opponents from I saw what? Yeah, nice turn. Yeah, good job. Yeah, this is
there's a lot of wall riding though in this game.
Yeah, I figured, because I remember, at least if it's the same with Zero, then the handling is not the greatest.
The main difference with, for example, Zero, is that they try to prevent you from wall riding by removing some of your health when you hit a wall or a traffic car.
Yeah.
Here it's not the case.
So you can practically exploit the wall ride.
So one important thing to note is that if you lose health, it's permanent, unless you restart the race. So if you lose health, you will not regain it.
Yeah. So, and then the way you lose health is if you fall a bit behind. Like, if you're too much behind, then you start to lose health.
Yep. So yeah, it's basically, for those who know, it's like Need for Speed Underground 2 Outruns. Like, you have to basically just go as far ahead as you can, and their health will deplete more. It will deplete quicker if you are further away. Though there is a limit. Oh, okay, that's not a great start, but at least they are so slow that it doesn't even matter that much.
I mean, you're going up against the early game opponents, so I don't think that matters too much.
Yep, I'm currently in the fastest car in the game, which is over 700 horsepower, and it's just under a ton. It's called the S30. That's the car that you win after beating the Quick Race game mode for the first time.
I see.
So basically, you don't get it from the regular quest mode.
So there's kind of like a reason to do the arcade mode, as it's kind of part of progression too. Nice. I kind of wish that they would do that with war games. Just like have it be like the campaign or the career or the quest mode. Like that isn't the only thing for progression. Like you can do like the little arcade modes or like licenses for like Gran Turismo games. I know GT3 did something like that with the arcade mode, and then once you got to GT4, then they kind of stopped having arcade mode for progressions. I kind of wish that they would bring that back in the series, which I doubt that they would.
This is the 6 opponents, and I've already gotten 2 gold splits. Seriously. and that's like I've done like 12 runs of this.
And so this is all it is. It's just going up against 100 opponents.
Yeah.
And
So
if you win them
basically-
all, then that's it.
Yeah, basically there's someone. So basically the leaderboards of this category are split in two different things. So in the menu, when you choose SP race, you can choose between demo car and quest car. So I picked quest car to pick my own car.
Yeah.
But if you pick demo car, you have to pick one of the stock cars without upgrades. And there is a subdivision between demo and quest cars on the speedrun.com. And there is someone who did this category with a demo car. And this is extremely hard. So basically you're going up against endgame cars at the end. Like the final bosses in the game. And doing this with a car without upgrades is actually crazy.
Yeah, I would assume that they would do something like if you want to choose demo cars, then they would pre-tune the opponent vehicle so you can have a more even playing field. I guess that's not the case here.
So here I lost a bit of time due to RNG. So basically the AI has to pathfind towards you when it starts a race. And sometimes it struggles a bit to pathfind and you lose time like this.
Yeah, I think the pathfinding thing has still been an issue with the later games because I recall playing Fortuna Challenge and that was also the same issue too. And I was just playing the game casually, like I wasn't speedrunning or anything. Just depending on like where I initiated the race, like that same thing would happen. Hopefully they
So far
can
it's
fix it
going
for the
pretty
new
well.
TXR game. Yeah.
Apart
so far,
from
so
the 10
good.
seconds I lost from the AI failing to pathfind. I had an AI very early on in my PB doing the same thing, so I'm basically still on pace with my own PB, so yeah, going alright.
I was gonna say I think with the earlier races when you crash into the walls and the traffic, I think it's starting
That was
to
close.
take a toll right now.
That was close. I barely sneaked behind that truck.
Yeah, literally literally dodge a bullet. That's all I gotta say.
In that section, these few turns, the AI is very quick sometimes, so it's gonna be difficult later on, or it crashed into the truck.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a few more seconds.
Yeah, so far this run is not a good start.
I mean, I'm just... There is not much time to save, basically, at the start. It's mainly at the end. The start is fairly straightforward.
Because that's when the opponents are quicker, and you have pretty much a lot of leave room.
Yeah, and since there is a certain distance at which their health starts to stop accelerating, decreasing, if you know what I mean. If like... It's a very short distance actually, it's like maybe if you're like 200 meters ahead, it will still be the same as 500 meters ahead, for example. It will be as quick. So basically the early game is fairly easy. All you need to do is to not crash in the very first few meters of the race. But if I crash when my opponent is almost dead, it's fine. Because I will not even lose time.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did they ever carry this game mode over to like the future installments of the TXR games, or which is just this one in particular?
I have actually no idea because I haven't played the following games.
Oh, okay. It's all good.
We have no TXR game in common.
And this is the only one that you played so far, just because of speedrunning.
Yeah, basically, the two reasons I played this game was one because the new TXR was announced, and I was like, hey, maybe it could be a good idea to find out about this series, and also because this marathon was announced approximately at the same time. Oh, nice. So basically, there is another thing to note. is that oh, he cast me out, so I will lose time. There's an interesting thing to note. If you manage to somehow go in reverse, which isn't supposed to happen in this game, the game will just take control of your car and put you back in the right direction. But yeah, you're not supposed to go backwards on the track.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I recall that the newer games don't let you do that.
Yeah, that's also the case here.
Weird.
That's also the case here.
But then I never played the Dreamcast TXR game, so like I'm learning something new every day just watching you. Just watching you play this. This is not even the main game. This is just the arcade stuff, and I'm learning a lot about this game because I'm eventually gonna play this on one of my playthroughs because I will eventually marathon all the TXR games just because a new one is coming out too. So might as well get myself prepped up and learn more about the game.
I personally don't want to make a marathon of one series because I don't want to burn out of one series.
Yeah.
Speaking of burnout, the next game I was planning to play was Burnout, so.
I think the last time I played Burnout was like maybe 2 years ago, and I just did Revenge. I know a lot of people wanted me to play 3, but I don't know. I just kind of enjoyed Revenge a little bit more as a kid, and I just decided to play that. But I'll eventually play 3 because 3 was another good one too, and maybe I'll play the other older games in the future. I don't know. Like the second one, I know the second one gets talked about a lot too, and the first one.
I played the second one when I was like 3 years old.
3 years old. So it was like legit your first. It was like legit your first game that you played.
Probably, yeah. And that's the oldest game that I have that I remember of. I don't know the exact age even. I might have been like 4 maybe.
Yeah, you're lucky because my first game was Pokemon Red and Blue. I mean, it's a fun game though, but I mean, I was expecting to at least play a racing game as my first game.
So we didn't talk a lot about the map, but yeah, as you can see, it's not really an open world; it's just a track. There is on the map you can see there is some alternative roads. These are much slower, and the AI is very good at it, and I'm not. It has some very sharp turns, and the AI is very good in very sharp turns. It has basically almost infinite grip sometimes. That's why you have to wall ride, to wall bounce sometimes. But yeah, just that good.
And you could take advantage of it with this game, because I do recall that same exact alternative path.
For example, this sharp left that I just took, the AI sometimes can be faster than you. Despite you exiting at over 140 miles per hour.
I think it just has to do with like rubber banding too.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the game has loads and loads of rubber banding, and it's quite noticeable.
Also, I think it's also the case in the next TXR game, but there is no button to look backwards. Instead, you have to switch camera because there is mirrors in the bumper camera. Oh, I barely scratched that one.
I think with a game like this, it's kind of ideal not to look backwards, because the thing is that, well, I know just like every racing game, you just want to kind of focus what's ahead of you, but at the same time you want to know where your opponent is at behind you. But with a game like this, I think not having having a backup camera is kind of ideal.
When you crash and you need to block your opponents, it's kind of useful to have to be able to look backwards.
Yeah. But like that's when you get that's when you go to like bumper cam, just so you can at least have that point of view still, without sacrificing like your front view.
One thing I like about this game mode is that your opponent always spawns behind you, which is good because when it's ahead of you, the opponents tend to try a lot to block you.
To block you and sometimes speed off.
Oh, that was a gold cliff, nice.
Yeah, because if I recall the TXR games, usually you're the one that starts in the back, unless like you have like one of those like wanderers, when the wanderers want to trigger a race, and that's the only times you really start in the front, and you kind of have some advantage to block off your opponent since the VTEX just kicks in as the race just starts.
Basically, in this game, there is no wanderers. there is 141 rivals in total. 20 of them
wow.
are regular bosses, so they are all part of gangs, and there are 20 different gangs.
Mm-hmm.
Which and when you defeat all the members of one gang, there is the boss that challenges you, and it challenges you
the
like
boss.
this. So basically, you have to challenge others, and you spawn behind them. And when the boss challenges you, he spawns behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have the 4 divas and the 4 devils, which are the main bosses, like the real ones. And these ones are very tough compared to regular bosses.
So
And
you said that there's 141 rivals in this game.
Yep.
Yeah, that you could. Just
If you
say
count
that
the
this is,
bosses
like,
and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So you could just say that, like, if you don't count Street Supremacy, because apparently Street Supremacy is the shortest in the series, you could say that the original TXR game is the shortest in the series. Just because there's not a lot of rivals to go up against.
Yeah, it's very likely that it is. It's the first after
Because
all.
in the later games, you have like 400, 500 rivals.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
Sometimes there are
even the
vehicles
Dream
outside of the
series-
stone, and it's
Mhm.
yeah. There's
Oh,
also
that's-
sometimes where you're very unlucky with traffic, and basically, I did some runs where very often I would see 3 traffic cars spawning, like 2 ahead and neck and neck, and 1 behind. And basically, what
Yeah.
happens in that situation is that the one behind will change lane all the time. Because it will be like, oh, there is a car ahead of me, I change lane. And then it change lane again because there is still a car ahead of it.
And you can't really do anything about it either.
Yeah, and that's just... You can go past it, but it's very likely that you will crash. Because it's much harder to avoid than just one traffic car.
Because you're going very fast too.
Yeah. I mean, the cars are not that quick in this game, compared to what I've seen in later games. Like, basically, this is the fastest car in the game, and it doesn't even reach 190 miles per hour, which is about 310 kilometers per hour, I think. Unfortunately, you can't change the units.
Oh, so whatever it's kind of region
Yeah.
locked. So like if
Yeah,
you
region
were
locked.
like in TSC, then you have to go with miles per hour.
Yeah.
You're on PAL, then you could go kilometer. Okay. So
Same
it's one
for
of those games.
Japan also have kilometers per hour.
Yeah. It's like the early game syndrome, like the early games like back on the Dreamcast and like the PS1, with the exception of some early PS2 titles, you can't change the units unless
I mean, it kind
you
of
do
makes
some
sense.
modding around. Yeah,
Kinda makes sense
because I mean,
because why would an European change to miles per hour?
and the same with like the
Yeah,
Americans
same
wanting
with
to switch
Americans.
to kilometers. I mean, I do that all the time because because most of my viewers that watch me are from Europe or not in America, so it's like I'd rather just play in kilometers. And I just kind of, by playing over time with kilometers or like with the metric units, I just kind of grown used to it. So like I know how to distinguish like Celsius or kilometers, and I know how to like convert it to miles just easily. So it's just something that I just got used to.
What's funny about Fahrenheit and Celsius is that Fahrenheit, they just took Celsius and they applied a linear function to it. They multiplied it and they added a number, and that's it. Just to
Yeah, that's pretty
that should
much what it
be
is.
just to be original, you know.
But yeah, no, regardless, even like with PCs, like when you look at computers and you look at like your motherboard temperatures, like your GPU temperatures, they always use the metric units instead. Even if you got your stuff from America, they still use the metric units.
Yeah,
It's just kind of the way to go.
I heard a lot of stuff, like, for example, the NASA having issues back then when they tried to go to the moon. They had issues because there were inaccuracies with metric and feet conversions. Metric and power conversion. There were issues because they were manufacturing stuff using... They were buying stuff that was manufactured using the imperial system, and then they had to convert it themselves, and there was some issues like that.
Yeah. 2x plus 32 if I... Yeah, something like that, broken. Yeah, something like that.
And we are at a quarter of the run right now. We've beaten 25
Oh,
levels.
really?
Yep.
Wow, 25 already that quick.
Yeah, I'm using my splits on my side to keep track of it, otherwise I couldn't.
Yeah. And then right now it's set. Is the estimate? Is that like the world record time, or is that just like?
Nah,
like
it's
an
not world
estimate on
record.
what?
It's an estimate based on what I think I could do
Okay.
on something that I could safely say I will be able to do it live. But the thing is that
Okay.
after submitting the run with this estimate, I did some practice, and one of my practice runs was overestimate, which I didn't expect to happen. But oh yeah, we got one of those that I was talking about, triple traffic cars.
Oh yes.
But yeah, one of my run was like 125, 40 or 50 or something like that. And I didn't expect this to happen because my current PB 120.42 is actually so it's world record because I'm the only one who has made this category with the quest car. And basically, this was my second run, I think, with this car. Before that, I was using the Porsche because I thought it was the fastest, and I didn't have the.
So.
I didn't have this one because I didn't buy it. And I was like, yeah, I need to grind to upgrade it and stuff. I was lazy. So I started to run with the Porsche. And so far, none of my S30, so this car is called the S30 and the Porsche is called the P930. None of my S30 runs was slower than my best Porsche run. Got a 126 PB with the Porsche. Also, every single one. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it would make sense too because like the S30 like
yeah, low wise.
What's supposed to be based off of? It's supposed to be based off like one of the cars from like a famous anime manga, and they practically replicated the main car and just like put it in this game. And of course, it's not really like a cover car, but it's kind of like a signature car, like a hero car in some ways. So
it's
of course,
basically
like make it the best.
It's A86 of Initial D, but One God Midnight version.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the anime it's based off is One God Midnight. The Porsche is also from One God Midnight as far as I can
which they call the Blackbird in the series.
Ah yes, I only watched one episode of it and then I moved on.
Yeah, no, honestly, I wouldn't recommend any. Well, if you want to watch something just to watch something, just to say you watch it, then I would say go right ahead. It wouldn't hurt so much. But honestly, when I watched it, I only watched like a few episodes, and then I pretty much watched like all the recaps and the highlights like on YouTube.
Oh, that was a good rollback.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't lose a lot of speed.
Well, yeah, I would just say I would mainly more stick to Initial D if you want to see at least a decent car anime, and maybe Wong at Midnight does a better job with the games compared to Initial D.
And this game has
this
series of games also has Initial D ripoffs.
Wait, what was that again?
Tokyo Xtreme Racer Drift.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it has some kind of Initial D games. So yeah, it made some spin-offs of the series where they did mountain driving instead.
Yeah, that was the one that I finished. Like I think it was like a few months ago. Like I played it a year ago, and I pretty much I went all the way up to the guy that drove the Clio, and then afterwards I kind of held off on the game for quite some time, and then I decided, you know what, I want to finally beat this game, and then next thing you know, like a few months ago, I just finally beat the game. But it would be a game that I would recommend anyone to play. Like if you have never played you don't have to play any of the TXR games to enjoy TXR Drift 2, because like you could enjoy the same way. Though there would be some things that you might not understand
because
so you haven't played the TXR games, but I still would pick up Drift 2. I would say Drift 2 is easily like one of my favorites in the series so far.
So there is something with the traffic cars. So sometimes you can just slide on them instead of wallbanging, and you lose less speed than when you wallbang. But there is one issue with that, is that it's a bit inconsistent. Sometimes you get caught up on the side. I don't know really how. It must be like some mesh collision, some weird stuff. But sometimes you overtake a car, you're very close, and in the middle of it you're stuck. You get stuck, and okay, that was a bit bad, but it's fine.
I mean, it could have been worse. You could have been stuck in like in between those traffic cars.
Yeah. Yeah, so far it's a pretty good start to this run.
Yeah, it kind of started off a little bit sloppy, but it's getting there. It's I would say it's a redemption arc.
And
right
the tough part is the second half.
Yeah.
Once we pass the 50 opponents. I still haven't done the entire quick race game mode. I've never done it without restarting any race. So basically you can restart a race by pressing start, then retire, and then retry a race. But basically that's a big time loss because you restart the race. But sometimes it's actually quicker because if you're far behind and you didn't deal much damage to your opponent, it's better to just restart.
To restart, yeah. Funny
One thing
how automatic shifts way past red light in this game. Unusual to see, T Kanji says.
Yeah. And surprisingly also 80 is just quicker, I think. Like, from what I've tested, I don't think manual is faster.
And you would think so too, because you have more control of the gears.
Yeah. But the thing is that when you crash, you often when you crash, the automatic gearbox downshifts quicker than you. Because I always forget to downshift enough when I crash.
Yeah, I know.
So it helps you restart better, basically.
Yes.
And the opponent's actually pretty good for once. Just a bit of
I
time.
was gonna say he's actually keeping up.
Yeah. Yeah, generally when you get a good race is around 29 seconds on the timer on the top. And if it's more than that, it's because the opponent kept up at some point.
Yeah. But no, we're slowly
What?
creeping.
Okay, what happened here? I don't understand what happened here, but like I clipped that traffic car somehow.
Yeah. You just.
That's what I meant earlier. Sometimes you just clip the traffic car, like you think your car's collisions would be flat, but no.
It kind of reminds me of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, like the remaster for the 2010 in some ways. How like the traffic hitboxes is just so bad. Like you think you're flying, and the next thing you know, like you just crash into a traffic and you just lose so much time. It gets really annoying, like when I'm playing with friends on multiplayer.
Also, one thing I noticed when I made my splits, I decided to write up all the names of every single opponent on my splits, just to make it fancier. And I realized that there is literally no gang boss in the quick race mode. So all of the opponents are regular opponents, or they are the 4 divas and 4 devils.
And even the last final boss of the arcade, it's still like a random opponent.
No, there is the like the 7 last opponents are the main bosses, but there is no gang boss.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
You will face 93 regular opponents, regular gang members, and then you face the 4 divas, and then you face 3 of the 4 devils. You don't face the guy that has the SRT, who is called Question Mark.
Yeah.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, question mark, just to be exact. 3 question marks. Sounds a little like Juice WRLD Automatic is far better than manual for showcase because you have to go through all the gears to reach reverse gear. Oh yeah, there were some other games too where you had to downshift all the way to reverse just to go reverse. But like games like Gran Turismo, like at least what they did is like you have a reverse gear so you could just switch to the reverse gear when you need it. And I think some other games too, like even if you were like at 5th or 6th gear and you're like completely stopped, you could just instantly go reverse. like without having to downshift all the way. But I know people will say like if there's an option for the game that manual with clutch is the better option just because you have even more control of your gears. But I don't know. It's just playing on a controller. I don't know. It just kind of feels weird to play with clutch. So I'm just okay with manual. But obviously, if there are games where you have a much bigger advantage with automatic, then yeah, we'll switch to automatic.
Oh nice, that was my gold split on this race.
Oh, nice.
I've gotten a few gold splits, yeah. I always get a few of them, but generally, gold split at this point, most of them are basically a few tenths of a second, even a few hundred, because they are basically maxed out now. Because as I said, you just need to go away. Each race takes, basically each split takes 42 seconds in general. Because they take 13 seconds to start. Oh. Wow! I didn't expect to sneak in between the truck and the wall, but whoa! I thought I would crash.
Yeah, you still did hit him, but
yeah,
I
pushed. That's the first time I
preferred that side swipe action.
That's the first time I managed to push a truck actually.
Yeah.
Generally, when you hit a truck, it's like hitting a wall. It just doesn't move. And here, that's definitely the first time I've managed to make a truck move.
Alright, T Kanji also says, I assume it matters more in the later TXR games where engine swaps move the power band around. Yeah, I mean, you kind of do notice it with the later games as well, especially when the opponents, when you start at a rolling start and then like the opponents just take off.
Okay, that was actually decent despite not looking. This turn looked very weird, but it was actually pretty decent. I had a pretty good exit. I had a pretty good exit speed. So yeah, about this game Quest mod, because we talked about it briefly, but basically the goal is that you start with a bit of cash and you have to buy a car. So you have most of the cars unlocked at the start. The car list, there is about 30 cars. It's all JDMs with one exception, the Porsche.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay, that was a very bad decision making. The Porsche is not unlocked at the start, it's unlocked after you've beaten the game. Or the quest mod.
Okay, it kind of reminds me a bit... I was gonna say, it kind of reminds me of Import Tuner Challenge, because Import Tuner Challenge, you have all of the cars unlocked at the start, and depending which version you play, like if you play like the US version, then like you could practically afford like majority of like every car in the game if you wanted to as a starter car. As with the Japanese version, the prices of the cars have pretty much doubled, because it's kind of like how it would be like IRL. I guess they didn't convert the currency system well from the Japanese version to the US version for some odd reason. So when you play the US version of Import Tuner Challenge, like cars and even upgrades are way much cheaper. As if you play the Japanese version, then like it's like there has been no like currency modifiers. So like cars and upgrades will cost like they're practically cost a lot. But that's if you normally play the Japanese version, then yeah, it's not gonna be weird. But if you have played the US version and you switch over to the Japanese version, then it is gonna be a bit odd. But then it did make the Import Tuner Challenge a bit more of an interesting playthrough, since it was my first time playing through it. Just that way I wasn't able to just like easily get all my upgrades and get the cars that I needed. Like it kind of felt like there was a bit of grinding, but it didn't really feel like there was too much grinding either. Like I felt like my playtime with that game with 100% was fair.
Yeah, this game is actually very quick. Like, I know that the speedruns of all rivals takes around 3.5 hours, and this game mode is 1.5. So, I guess casually it should take under 10 hours. I think it took me to under 10 hours casually, actually. It was not that hard. The only actually hard thing that I've had to do was beating the first Diva, Grim Reaper, which was actually very hard. He was very aggressive and he was much faster than any other boss. And I didn't beat him until I switched cards. Like I switched from I used an S13 at the start and then I switched to a Z32, which apparently is a very bad card, but it was enough. It was good enough. But yeah, apparently the speedrunners don't use this card at all, and that later. I haven't done any all racers or all 4 divas or any of the long categories. I've only done beat 1 diva, which is just beat the first diva. Yeah, I mean that's kind of obvious, and it's very random. So I didn't explain really how was the quest mode then. So basically, after you buy your first car, you have to make money and beat rivals. So you choosing which way you go on the map, because like for example we have been going clockwise here. That's the outer loop.
Yes.
But there is also the inner loop. I'm choosing the outer loop because the inner loop has some corners that are sharper. It's a bit more difficult, and I feel like the AI has a better advantage on me on the inner loop than on the outer loop, so I prefer the outer loop.
You don't slow down as much in the outer loop.
Yeah. Most of the corners are easier. Especially
and
like,
of course, not taking that alternate path or whatever.
I think the hardest turn for me in the inner loop is the one at the top left of the map, because you're at the end of the very long straight and you have to turn left, and there is basically no wall. Like until very late there is no wall, and so you have to turn a lot before being able to wall it. It's a very complicated turn, and it's very sharp, much sharper than on the outer loop.
I think it's kind of the same too with like the later TXR games, where the outer loop was just kind of like a more faster route than the inner.
Also in the next TXR games, the map is expanded. It's not.
So
it has more branches of the highways. Like here we're only on the main loop. Yeah, the C1. But there is other parts of Tokyo that we can explore in the next TXR games. Please. Okay. Oh, it almost sent me the wrong route. But yeah, there is even in TXR 3, I think you can go in Nagoya and Osaka, right?
I think that's what they were in TXR 3, and then Import Tuner Challenge they took some routes away, but they added 2 more routes, which what was
that traffic car was sideways.
It sounded like they were. I don't know if you're playing TXR or if you're playing Most Wanted, and they just called in a roadblock on you.
Exactly.
But, yeah, no. The Import Tuner Challenge, they took 2 of the route. They took 2 routes out, and then they added 2 additional ones. But I don't exactly remember the names of it. But because it was a run, because the game was also rushed too, they couldn't really properly finish the route the way they wanted to. So it just felt more like a point-to-point type of route. Like you go from one side and then you kind of do you kind of circle around like the end, and then you practically race back to like the C1. And those routes in general, like even if that wasn't the issue, it still kind of felt lackluster. Like I think another reason that the Import Tuner Challenge doesn't get as much love is because like all the famous routes that we have from like the older games, like just don't even exist in Import Tuner Challenge. And it could have probably existed if they had more development time, which obviously they didn't. But because I think this, I don't know, I think this might have been a launch title for the 360, maybe, or maybe it came a year after the 360. Yeah, Import Tuner Challenge.
I think it was quite early in the 360, yeah. But I don't know if it's a launch title.
Yeah, I could always look it up real quick. When did Import Tuner Challenge come out? Yeah, I would assume it's like 2005 or 2006.
I know it was rushed a bit, but apart from that,
I still enjoyed the game. Regardless. Like I wouldn't mind playing it again. Just not very soon. Let me see. Release date. Oh, okay, so yes, it did come out in July 27th of 2006. Okay, so it wasn't a launch title then, because the 360 came out in 2005.
Yeah, that's the PS3 that came out in 2006, right?
Yeah, the PS3 came out like November of 2006.
Oh yeah. They were a bit late.
Yeah, because I'm looking and
Okay, we got the triple traffic here. Also, that thing earlier with the traffic car that was sideways. I can say the line. It's a thing that has never happened before.
it's like a millions to one type of situation.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, this game has sometimes some weird stuff happening. I wouldn't even be surprised if at some point there is an AI that just clips through the ground and I'm just soft-locked. I wouldn't be surprised if this happens. It never happens, but it never happened before. But I wouldn't be surprised if it ever happens.
Oh yeah, I also wanted to ask too. I don't know if it is with. Whoa, hey,
Yeah.
that was a nice start. But
Yeah.
what I wanted to ask was, I know it's true with the other games, but with this game, like while you're racing against your rival, if you happen to go a different route and your opponent doesn't follow you that route, does it just give you a tie?
Yeah, it does. And
Okay.
I actually got that in that game mode once. So basically, I was here, literally in that junction. I started a race exactly here, and the thing is that there was
Yeah.
traffic, and so the AI during the countdown drove me very close to that exit, but I managed to go back to the main route, but my opponent didn't. And so I retried and it did it again, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
there.
you practically got.
And I lost a
yeah,
lot
you
of
got
time.
stuck there.
I lost over a minute because the next opponent I had to face it in the wrong route again, and there was that sharp turn that you can see near the middle, a very 90-degree corner. This corner, the opponents can take it at over 100 miles per hour, but there is no car. Even when you're dead stopped, you can't make that corner. It's so sharp.
Yeah, even the opponent, even like like the later games too, it's kind of the same. Even the inward route, like the opponent just goes so they just go so slow.
Especially in the outer loop for this corner. That's a corner that's so sharp in the outer loop. In the inner loop it's already pretty bad, but it's even worse, yeah. But that's why we always avoid it, because AI is just cheating. Okay, this time I didn't manage to go through it, but at least I can block the opponent.
Yeah, that's good.
I lost a lot of time. I mean, and by a lot of time I mean a few seconds.
I mean, you're still doing better than what I would do. That's that I have never played this game, and I've never yet.
And we've passed the halfway mark. This is the 55th opponent. Oh fuck.
Yeah, that red. Well, that's.
Oh, fuck.
I
I tried
was
to
about
push
to call
him.
it. I was about to call it the Dodge Ram, but I don't think the Ram would even be legal in Japan. It's too big.
Why don't they not have all K cars like in real life?
Yeah.
Okay, I lost 25 seconds this race.
I mean,
That's
you're still
ridiculous.
doing pretty
Yeah.
relatively good.
This could still theoretically
Oh,
be...
there's that Z32 that you were telling me about.
Yeah, that's the car that I use in my personal playthrough. It's it's an okay mid-game car, but there are faster picks. It's much
And
better
you would
than the
think that
starter
the
cars.
Z32 would be. You would think that the Z32 would actually be a good choice.
I wanted to pick a car. I just don't like to pick like the same Skyline and Supra over and over and over again.
Yeah, because I mean those are
pick
kind
a
of the
different
obvious choices, and plus, anyone that plays this game, majority of them are gonna pick Skylines or Supras.
I know that the better cars in this game are the R32, the S34, as well, and the Impreza is a good mid-game car as well. From what I've heard, it's been used by some speedrunners as a mid-game car. Endgame cars, they generally take some boss cars, like so the the Four Devils. They have you can unlock their cars, which are upgraded versions of regular car. There is the there is the RX-7 FD that has its own upgraded version from the second Diva. And this one is the car that I actually finished the game with. This car is one of the fastest in the game. There is the Skyline from Ravenblood, which is a better R34. There is also a Supra from another boss as well, from Exhaustive, which is also a better Supra, even though it's a Supra, so in this game the Supra is not great. But it's still better than the original Supra, and there is obviously the Porsche. There is one of the bosses that you can't even get its car. It's Banshee. It's the fourth Diva. Oh, they sneaked in between that. Yeah, the fourth Diva called Banshee. You can't get their car. They have a modified NSX, but it's not an NSX that you can get. You can get the normal NSX, but this is a specific NSX that has different stats and stuff and customization. It's basically considered as a different car in the game files, basically. But you can't acquire it. And I remember when I've beaten that rival, I thought I had beaten the game. Because this was the fourth Diva. I was like, hey, next is just completion, I guess. But no, when you beat more rivals... Oh, okay. So remember what I said about being able to clip the, like, I don't know, the mirror of the car or something like that? That's what happens. That's how it happens. We didn't lose much time though. I was far ahead. I think this rival is pretty tough though. I'm not sure. I might confuse it with someone else. But yeah, sometimes the collisions are a bit inconsistent.
I mean, it's something new that we're learning. Like for people that are not familiar with the original Dreamcast TXR game, or it's just little fun facts about the game. I mean, it's always good to like note stuff down.
But yeah, to come back to the quest mode, the reason why the quest mode is very RNG, so basically my PB on it is 22 minutes, and the thing is that I originally submitted this category for this marathon with an estimate of 50 minutes. Do you think, like, what the fuck? Why would you put an estimate of 50 minutes if your PB is 22 minutes? Here, the difference is like 4 minutes between my PB and the estimate. But that's because, basically, so the category is beat 1 Diva. What's the condition to beat 1 Diva? You need to beat 2 gang bosses. Oh, that was a nice,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the truck and I was like, I'm gonna hit the wall, I'm gonna turn left to hit the wall harder and be pushed further. And that was a good decision.
I'm sure either way you still would have probably won and still outran your
yeah,
opponent
probably.
barely. But, I mean, better safe than sorry.
But yeah, what I was saying, so you need to beat 2 gang bosses to reach the first Diva. And basically, as I said earlier, to defeat one boss, to be challenged by a boss, you need to beat all the members of its gang. But the thing is that when you go on the highway, the opponents that spawn are random. I mean, it's not fully random. It's somewhat random according to your progression through the game. So basically, at the start, you're gonna mainly see early game opponents, and as you go further, you will see more late game opponents. But yeah, it's basically random, and you need to have basically the best. I'm gonna retry this one. Yeah, he went the wrong way, so yeah, there was no way I was making that. So yeah, still no race that is no reset.
At least the good news is it's not like you have to do this all in one shot, and if you lose, oh, you gotta start from the very first.
Yeah,
race.
and when you retry the race, you get back the health that you lost during that said race. Not during the other ones though.
Yeah, I could just
Basically,
imagine,
sometimes
like,
if you feel like you're gonna lose a lot of health, it's just safer to retire and try to
yeah,
do the same race again but cleaner.
because I was gonna say, just imagine just doing like the last seven rivals, and you're like what, like 5% of health.
Yeah, that's a true challenge.
Yeah.
At least they spawn
That's something
behind
that
so you can block them to avoid that, but yeah. It's better to arrive with a lot of health. I think my first few runs I had like 4, maybe 5 resets, maybe even more actually. Don't remember exactly, but yeah, I had a few resets. Oh, I clipped that wall barely, but I did. And so yeah, here we are starting to see some better rivals as we progress. We're not seeing any A86 or Civics anymore, even though there is a Civic that we're gonna be seeing soon. Because there is one of the endgame gangs is the female-only gang that has only Integras and Civics, but they are like much
They're,
faster
like,
than
fully
any.
souped up.
They are super fast. They're as fast as other mid games, but you can still beat them with a starter car though. Like sometimes there is one of the it's one of the gangs that it's recommended to challenge in the Beat 1 Diva category because they give a lot of money and they are actually beatable in the starter car. And in the Beat 1 Diva category it's actually good because really you need to be able to upgrade your car as quickly as possible because Grim Reaper, the first Diva that you need to beat at the end, is ruthless. And it's one of the most aggressive opponents that I have seen. Like really, he blocks you so efficiently.
And this is like the first boss you go up against. Like this is like we're talking about early game.
Yeah, yeah. Directly, like, you will probably casually you will probably face him at around like an hour and a half, maybe even less. Maybe an hour.
So he's like the toughest opponent to go up against, but then once you beat him, then the rest of the game is easy.
Like as I said, this is the ones that I was talking about, the clan called
Yeah, the
Cuberos.
Integra.
With the Integras.
But it was kind of the same too. I think. I mean, it's kind of like that with like the rest of the TXR games, where like you will have slower cars like in the beginning, especially like cars that are more suitable for like starter cars. I think even in Fortuna Challenge they did something like that too. Like when you got to like the later game, then you stopped seeing A86s and what is it? Like, and then you will start seeing RX8s a lot, and then after that you go from seeing RX8s a lot to R32s.
And here we are seeing a Z32 again.
Oh, and it's pink. Let's go.
There is actually a fun fact that I found. There is over 30 cars in the game. I don't remember the exact number, but some of them are actually unused, and there is absolutely no rivals that's using the Mitsubishi Eclipse, or at least the V-badged Mitsubishi Eclipse. And there are 2 versions of it, and none of them is used by any rival.
Like it's in the game and you can buy it and it's playable, but
yeah, you
like,
can
no
buy
rivals
it.
use it.
You can buy it. You can drive it. But you will never be against it. And I think that's the only car that's the case.
I think if you want to apply a little bit of headcanon to it, you could say that that's supposed to be like the player's card that they use throughout the game.
I just had a great idea. I just said, what about imagine a mod on this game that randomizes the opponent's car and customization.
Like the Gran Turismo's randomizer stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be hilarious. I think
We're
I
actually
recall
keeping up with
even...
PB. That was the opponent 69, the previous one, by the way. Nice.
Yeah. And then this one, yep,
This one is
hatchback
70.
Civic.
And this is another one of these Civics and Integra. Rare moment where you will see me take this corner properly.
Which you did take it properly, and I probably won't see it again throughout the rest of this run.
Yeah.
Yeah, so make sure to clip that, you guys.
Me taking a corner properly?
Impossible. Oh yeah, though, the races are still going like 30-35 seconds, like on average. I mean, it's still pretty good pacing.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty close to my PB actually. I'm
How
like
many
stabilizing
are we right now?
behind. Like I'm like 20 seconds behind. I've been stabilizing. I was at 40 seconds at some point, but 40 seconds behind. But yeah.
Yeah, we're slowly making ground. That's all that matters.
Furthest ahead that I've been was like very early on. I was like 13 seconds ahead because it was where I had the first opponent that was failing to pathfind in my PB. That was a great corner, by the way. That long right sweeper.
Yeah.
I rarely take it that quickly. Generally, I just wallbang, but there was no
So I
traffic.
guess
so...
this is like the game. They're all just driving Civics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Civics and Integras.
And what opponent is this? Like opponent number what?
That's 72 currently. The yellow Civic is 72.
Ah, we missed 69.
Yeah. I said it earlier.
Oh, I didn't catch it.
I said it when we were on during opponent 70.
Oh, well, I can't believe I did not even notice that. I demand you do a redo. We start this run again.
Hey, I saved 10 seconds in the previous race. I saved 10 seconds in the previous race, and I saved 10 seconds in this one, so I'm only 1 second behind now. But again,
especially where you're at, I don't think it's even worth it even starting all over just to get that, just for me to see that nice number again.
Yeah, let's restart the run from start.
Yeah. Yeah, you got Cruising USA next? Don't worry, they can wait.
One thing that I really don't like with this game's handling is that drifting is... Like, sometimes when you drift, you just can't get the car back. Oh my god, I'm ahead of my TV.
You just lose so much speed.
Yeah. I'm ahead of my TV right now.
Yeah, because that happens too with the later games.
Also, somehow my sum of best has been reduced by 10 seconds since I started the run. Basically, sum of best is just my best splits combined together, and it's 1:13. That means that theoretically, the best time achievable would be a 1:13, but that's unreachable for several reasons. First, I'm splitting manually, so it's sometimes inaccurate. Maybe sometimes I'm splitting too early, and that's why I get gold. Maybe sometimes I'm splitting late, and so the next split gets a gold for that reason. But yeah. That's a lie. Theoretically, I think the furthest that this could be pushed down would be maybe 1:16 realistically. I don't see anyone doing under that. So basically just imagine like 45 seconds of average per race.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and there is 100 of them, so 4,500 seconds, which is 1 hour 15.
I also have another question too with this game mode in particular. So I know some games do it, but that's like more like for endurance races. But like for a game mode like this, like just say like you don't want to do all 100 opponents all in one run. Like, is there like a way that you can like, well, in this, and I'm not talking about emulators either. I'm just talking about like full native Dreamcast, like hardware, just the hardware itself. Like, would there be any way for people to like pause their run, save wherever they're at, and they can just resume?
That would be too easy.
Resume whenever.
If you quit, you go back to 0. It's like
so
it's like Mario Bros, for example. It's like Super Mario Bros. If you quit, you go back to 0.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only what, like an hour, like
My first,
like I'll just say
the
I'll
first
say
time
an
I did
average,
it.
like 2 hours.
So I will explain quickly. After beating the game casually, I was like, I'm lazy to do this game mod just casually, so I'll just do it in a speedrun. I just take my timer and stream it, and yeah, that was basically what I was thinking. And my first run was like 1:30.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of like the same length as a pretty quick endurance race in GT3.
Yeah.
So
for
I mean
example.
that's something that you could that's something that you could easily do in one run without being too completely bored out of your mind.
Okay, but you can still pause, and if you need to go to the toilet or if you're hungry, you can just pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
I
like
mean, of course you can always
nothing
pause.
forces you to do it like me in a speedrun without a break, but you have to keep the console
Yes.
up.
It's kind of like me when I was little, when I had a PS2 and I didn't have like a memory card at the time.
I restarted this one
I don't know.
because
Yeah,
it
no, I
was
saw
not
that.
feeling great about this.
But no, I remembered. I think we had a memory card included when I got my PS2, but we just don't know what happened to it. It just somehow got lost. So every time I would play my PS2, doesn't matter.
Oh
what
no,
game
I almost
played,
did the same
would
thing.
always- Yeah, but
I tried to block, but I couldn't. I can catch up. I think it will be quicker
Uh,
to overtake it. Yeah.
yeah.
Nope. You blocked me. I didn't expect
That's
that.
not.
Okay.
That's not.
Okay.
much,
Let's
that's not much of a help.
lets me
us.
pass for some reason.
Yeah. I think you
Ah,
should.
this
still
taxi. Why is this taxi green?
Yeah. I think that's isn't that how, like the color of the taxis in Japan? Don't they
Yeah, I've
usually
seen
green?
some red ones as well.
Yeah.
I know that
I
red
mean,
ones
the
are
red
Hong
ones-
Kong, but
Yeah.
Okay, I lost
yeah,
50
like-
seconds on that race alone. Nice.
I mean, could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. I could be 4 minutes behind and be overestimate. But surely it looks like it could be underestimate still. Like
But yeah, no,
I have 3 minutes to lose to be overestimate. So, and we've done most of the run. But yeah, you can be on pace for an hour and then just miss a couple of, just get one crash and you're
it's all
completely-
over.
Yeah, it's over. After a bit of
I think
help
I'm-
from that race against the Subaru, by the way. I'm at 83% right now, which is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty decent. Yeah, I kind of do want to go back to what I think I was talking about too. But yeah, like the whole memory card thing in the PS2. So, like back then, like I got a PS2 for Christmas, and I think it came with a memory card, but for some reason I lost that memory card. So whenever I would play games on the PS2, I would always have to play like from the start of the games, no matter which game I played, because I didn't have a memory card. And I remember Gran Turismo 3 would always be the game that I played because it was like my favorite game to play as a kid. And every single time I played a game, I would always go to a fresh start, like a fresh save, because I didn't have a memory card. So I had to do the licenses over and over and over again. I would do like the beginner league over and over and over again. I think the most I've done was, at least in one sitting, was complete all the beginner league, and I did all the licenses, and I did at least some of the amateur league races. I didn't do any. I did some of the rally events. I don't think I did any of the professional events. And then afterwards, yeah, no, my mom was getting pissed because I was just like leaving the PS2 and the TV and all the time, and it was just like using up electricity bills. And me being young and clueless, I did not know what that was because it didn't bother me, but it bothered my parents.
In the
So,
game's
I
lore,
remember I would.
in the game's
What's that?
lore, the skyline, the orange skyline that I'm currently facing, is supposedly the fastest regular opponents in the game. And I've beaten it quite easily, actually. So yeah, in the game's
I
lore,
didn't
it's supposed to be
get pay
the
attention
quickest
to the
guy.
time.
But I've beaten it quite easily.
That's good.
But yeah, there is some kind of lore which is with each opponent. They all have their kind of lore. Like, it's just a paragraph, but Yeah, it's still some kind of lore. Like you don't expect to have like an entire character development for 141 different person.
Yeah, that would
But-
just be way too much development time.
But you have like one
just-
paragraph.
Yeah.
At least that's better than nothing. You have a name and just a quick description of the life. And I'm actually
Yeah,
back.
you were.
I'm actually back. I saved almost a minute again. I'm just behind my PB now. The last two opponents I saved 50 seconds.
Well, yeah, no. If you wanted to get like the description and like an actual bio for like every single character, you would have to get like the whole English class on board, and just have them like all like pick one character and just write a bio for them. Like it doesn't matter what it is, just write a bio.
I'm pretty sure there are some universes that have like entire character development for 100 characters. But like these are stuff like much more. That's not like just a random game. Like it's stuff like Star Wars and stuff like that. These have a much deeper lore. This is not the kind of game that has actual
Yeah, no.
developed lore. Though every game is kinda connected. Like you see opponents from previous games quite often. Like I've seen some random gameplay. I didn't want to spoil myself completely, but I've seen some gameplay from the next games, and I've recognized some boss names and some gang names as well. Like for example, the first gang in this game called the Rolling Dudes. They are in every game, I think, in every TXR games.
Yes, and they're like always the first opponents that you go up, the first rivals you go up against.
Yeah.
Or the first games. I think they are bringing them back. I don't, because I've seen some Twitter posts on like from TXR's official Twitter page, and they do post up like some like SVG images of like the crews, and I don't think I saw those crews yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if they added them, because I mean they're like very iconic, because it's like the first game you go up against.
Yeah, everyone has
and they're mainly
them at some
driving
point.
like A86s. Mental that you can save that much time and catch back up again because of RNG. Yeah, true.
I mean, if you think this is bad RNG, if you think this is heavily RNG influenced, you haven't seen the Beat 1 Diva category, as I said. Like, you can just in the Beat 1 Diva category, you can have one opponent remaining to face to reach the boss that you need to beat, but it doesn't spawn, and you have to face other opponents instead. Or like, it can be 10 minutes long, 20 minutes long, and you can just have to wait. That's the only thing you can do. You can just go, continue your run until the opponent that you need is actually spawning. And that's the true RNG boss. Like, really. It's like my current PB on Beat 1 device is like 22 minutes, and it was actually a bad run. I didn't even beat Grim Reaper first try. I was using a card that I was not familiar with, because I was like, hey, let's try with different cards. And of course, the moment where I get the best RNG ever, I'm in the wrong car and I'm having an awful performance in terms of skill. And by the way, it's not the only occurrence of that happening, because the current world record for the Beat 1 Diva category, which is I think 19 minutes, it has been done at one of the RTA marathons, big marathon in Japan, in-person events. And basically they had some technical issues with the screen. I think their cable was not very well plugged in, so they lost 30 seconds because they had to replug it or something like that. And they ended the run with a guy holding the cable to be sure it stays connected.
we gotta get this PB
And
boss.
that was world record, by the way. Oh, also
Oh,
that
world
was
record. Oh,
that was the 87 opponents, which I restarted on in my PB, so I saved a lot of time.
Nice. Yeah, I think we might. At this
So far
rate,
the-
we might probably even pass the. We might even beat the estimate time.
Yeah. Oh, we are clearly gonna be unless I choke a lot, because like I'm currently ahead of PB.
Yeah, I don't want to.
So I would need to lose 5 minutes, basically, which
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet. Not in searching rivals.
jinx it.
I've already done runs where I lost a lot of time very quickly, but not at this, not that much. Like I have 12 rivals left. So
Yeah, 12 hours right now. Yes.
yep, because this is the rival number 89. Which is called Blue Star, and I don't remember the lore of this guy. I don't remember the lore of most of the... There are just some
Yeah, I don't-
very specific ones. Like, for example, there is a guy in the early game called Sports Car Killer, and it's called like that because there is a friend of him that died in a crash with a sports car, and he hates sports cars since, and he's driving a sedan.
Yeah.
They all have
Yeah,
their own lore like that, and I don't remember
Yeah.
all of them. Okay.
When you get to the drift series, you're gonna see a lot. Okay, that's definitely not gonna lose some time.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, good
Yeah,
thing you can make it to the
it
race.
always happen at least like twice or thrice in a run, so after a while you get used to it and you don't really mind it too much. Sometimes it's much longer though. I remember once I lost over 20 seconds from that kind of thing happening. And
Because
that's
they
annoying when
constantly
it
keep on
happens.
crashing
When you
and
lose
they
like
get
10
so far
seconds,
behind.
when you lose like 10 seconds, you're kind of used to it, but when you lose like 20, you're like, bruh.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna save time on my PB though, because I had a bad race, yeah. Like I saved 13 seconds here, despite that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm quite ahead of PB right now. I might even be able to do sub 120.
Yeah.
In a marathon,
And
that would be
they-
great. Oh, by the
Now
way,
this is the last 10 opponents, right?
yeah, last 10s, yeah.
Nice.
Also, by the way, the entrance of this tunnel is kinda cursed. The entrance of the
How
tunnel. I just noticed that. I had noticed that a few times earlier, but I noticed that again now. Sometimes on the right side of the entrance of the tunnel, you will see a car in the void, just driving in the void, a traffic car. Oh no, he was almost.
Yeah, I would. Oh,
Ah, that's very bad.
damn.
Yeah, I jinxed it. He is very slow, but yeah. So what I was saying is that you will see sometimes a car driving into the void, and it's kind of funny to spot that car like that, randomly driving in the middle of nowhere. I'm still ahead of PB though,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's fine. It's fine.
I think health wise you should still be fine, especially that these are the last 9 opponents.
Yeah,
I think you
just
should still
reminder
be okay.
that my PB was like my second run with this car. So, and I didn't beat it since. Like I've done like maybe 4 full runs since, and I didn't manage.
You know
to
what? You know what it is? It's because I'm here.
Yeah, you're bringing
You
me
just
some
needed
luck.
you needed my support.
I guess maybe the fact to be just chatting and chilling makes me do less mistakes. Like I'm just less stressed and less.
Yeah.
I'm being more safe probably as well, and so that makes me do less mistake, I guess.
Yeah, with me it's kind of like it kind of doesn't work exactly the same way. For me, well, like when I'm like in the VC with friends and I'm like streaming at the same time, like I kind of feel more relaxed. I'm still myself either way, regardless whether I'm with friends or not. But like I just don't feel as stressed out, or I just feel like I have
Oh, you
to
crashed.
carry this whole I have to carry the whole like stream. Like I feel like just with my friends like being there, it just kind of takes some load off of me, and I can kind of enjoy my game even if like I tend to mess up a little bit more. I think the drawback of messing up a little bit more in racing games, just being distracted with friends, it's kind of honestly worth it.
Also, this was the last regular opponent. Now we are gonna meet the 7 divas, the 4 divas, and then the... So this is Grim Reaper. The first boss that you need to beat in the Beat 1 diva category. He's rubber banding a lot, he is blocking a lot. So yeah. But here, we can be lucky and beat it very easily.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the anime lore of the S30.
Yeah, and he's just not as fast.
Nope.
Like it's still an early game boss. You beat it after beating 2 bosses, and there are like 20 bosses in the game. You could theoretically face him after beating like 10 opponents or something like that. Oh, and that was quick. Slower than PB somehow, but that was still quick.
I could just imagine just like beating the game with like the least common denominator and just going up against the Grim Reaper with like very little to no upgrades.
So this is Midnight Cinderella, so this is the one that has the card I finished the game with casually. The upgraded RX-7. It's the second diva which you can face after beating 4 bosses. And it actually went okay. Not a 30-second time, but I mean, generally you don't expect to get a 30-second run against the divas. I have got a 30-second run in my 30-second Midnight Cinderella in my PV, but apart from that, I rarely got that again.
Either way, you're still very good on time.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like there's like 6 opponents left. No, 5 actually.
5. Yeah,
and I have
5.
10 minutes. Almost. So.
But if you do want to make sub...
Oh, really? How was that a clip? Ah, bruh. I'm gonna restart.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And the thing is that my car was pushed just in time so he could pass. That's unfortunate.
That is some Need for Speed Hot Pursuit type of situation.
I'm gonna. Yeah, the car comes from the inside, from the outside as well, so you have to be very careful the way you go in between them. There was little space.
Oh, and then the traffic is in the same position even if you restart.
Yeah. That's the thing. At least that's actually good. Oh no! Don't tell me I did that again. Okay, can I catch up this time? I think I can. No, I can't. No, I'm gonna restart. Yeah, that was bad bounce.
So much for sub 120.
Yeah, no sub 120. I'm behind PB right now. Yeah, but it was a good attempt.
Yeah, it was a good attempt.
All I cared about was to be underestimated. I just wanted to move on from this game, to be honest. I was a bit disappointed that the marathon was delayed, but yeah, I'm very glad to finally move on from the game because yeah, I mean it's pretty repetitive as a category. I'm just very
you're
sad.
practically going around the same C1 loop.
Yeah,
I don't know how many times.
I'm a bit sad that I didn't got any PB though. I would have liked to get a sub 120, but it seemed reachable, but apparently not. Okay, camera.
Okay, cool.
Never happened before. I say the speedrunner line again. So that's Banshee. That's the opponent that you can't get the car from. As I said, you can get the regular NSX, but not Banshee's NSX. Basically, the NSX also, it's actually not a good car. It's not a good car because it's the most expensive car in the game, I think. No, it's the second most expensive. The Porsche is the most expensive, but yeah, oh, that was a gold split actually. Against Banshee. But yeah, the gold split by 5 seconds. I have never beaten Banshee that quick before. Okay. Am I restarting this now? I can just overtake her, I think.
Yeah, you still don't. You
I'm
still
pretty
have
close.
quite a bit of health.
Yeah, and one thing with the AIs in this game is like when you take some very sharp inside lines like this, it kinda messes up their pathfinding apparently when they're very close to you. So generally, I like to take these kind of turns very carefully sometimes, just to try to mess up the AI pathfinding. Even though I can be sometimes a bit slower than if I took the thing normally. Sometimes I like to just slow down to be sure to hit the turn like in a very good line.
It's just better safe than sorry.
Yeah,
This
but that's
situation.
just that's specifically a way to mess up the AI pathfinding. All
I
right.
think now we got 2 more opponents.
So also, by the way, that was exhaustive. The first 4 divas. Actually, it's the second one. I don't know why. Sometimes Raven Blood. So this is Raven Blood. It is before exhaustive usually, but a few times it's exhaustive that comes first, which is a bit weird. I don't know all of it. Also, Raven Blood is very easy to beat sometimes. I don't know why, but yeah. This is the second to last opponent in the game, and I've beaten it in 34 seconds. Not even my gauntlet.
Yeah. And then now we got the final one,
Yeah.
the Blackbird.
And we're locked out of PB because we only had
Yeah, we just
40,
yeah. I mean, at least you got to your 99th. At least you beat your 99th opponent with like sub 120.
No, 120.02 actually, on my timer at least.
Ah.
So yeah, that means that it was literally impossible to PB from that point, even with a perfect 0. And it's actually a perfect 0. If I don't crash, it's actually a very good 0. What the fuck? What the fuck is that 0? time. I forgot. Yeah, I almost forgot.
There we go.
Yeah, that's my best 0 by so far, by over 10 seconds. Like, I've never beaten 0 that quickly before. I almost PB'd in the end. Like, I'm not gonna lie, last week I had a run that was 10 seconds away from PB, and here it was 5 seconds away from PB. And
Still, yeah.
despite my practice being like a bit of a train wreck, like I had several runs around 123, 125, and yeah, that's just really surprising that I got so many runs so close together. Consistency, I call that. But yeah,
Even though I know it wasn't PB, I still gotta say that was a pretty impressive run.
Yeah, that's a good run. I'm happy with it. I'm just sad about the few resets that I had. That was a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you want to move on from the game.
Actually, I have more resets than in my PB. I had 3 resets here, and I had only 1 in my PB. So actually, interesting that I managed to. Yeah, I managed to get almost as quick despite having more resets. But yeah, that was TXR quick race game mod, and I think I'm gonna let Viper take over. Right?
No problem. Thank you very much. Yeah, so your file time was a 120.46 in the end.
Yeah, 48 on my side, but yeah.
But I think after that, you now definitely know your way around the Shibuya freeway, highway, whatever you want to call it, 6 times over.
Yeah. Also, for those who want to know how we know that this is the last opponent, because like it's basically looping over and over again. When you click on next stage, it gives you back to the first opponent with the H6. So that's how you know that it's the last. It doesn't go further.
That would explain that one. But
I mean,
yeah.
unless you want to restart your run, you could restart your run now.
Yeah, I could restart this way.
Unfortunately, we don't have time for a rerun. We can't run it back.
Yeah, we were already a bit late. We were starting a bit late already.
You know, we still got Cruising USA that they're waiting on.
We do. But yeah, no, I'm just going to quickly say as well, first and foremost, well, have you got any closing thoughts, any shouts you want to give Ventilo?
Yeah, I mean, go subscribe to Turbo Anime on Twitch and follow him.
Yeah, I never really got to introduce myself, but yes,
Yeah.
I'm Turbo Anime, and I stream on Twitch. I am somewhat of a degenerate, and I like to make Itachas and racing games.
Turbo is also one of the people behind the Pepega mod, for those who know.
Yes, and we're still currently working on 1.2 for Pepega mod.
But yeah, you can also follow me on Twitch if you want. But yeah, basically, yeah, what can I say? Yeah, good luck. Thank you, Viper, for hosting this great event. I wish racing game speedruns had more visibility. Maybe this was not the most entertaining speedrun in itself. We got some fun moments though. It's very repetitive, but we have always some fun stuff to look, like some weird AI behavior and some weird glitches. So that's nice. That's refreshing. But yeah, racing game speedrun are
it is sometimes down to some games don't always get showed off enough. I think that's
Yeah.
what we try and aim to do. Try and aim to allow people to submit games and be like, these games don't get shown off enough. That's what we're here for. To make sure that these events, these runs do get shown off in some regard or another. But just to kind of round it out, we do have 2 runs coming up, as Turbo's mentioned. We do have Cruising USA coming up with Destruction Derby 2 after it to close out the event.
Run by you?
I will run by myself, yeah. I'm not self-promoting, but yeah, run by myself. But yeah, we're going to go to a quick intermission, and then we'll come back. We're going to have Cruising USA by Lincoln Meister, and then obviously we're going to have DD2 at the end. So yeah, we'll go to a quick intermission, and you'll see you guys in a few. Be back shortly.